It's time for the Loco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arraj.
Hey, the gang's all here for a Monday night edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown. Been a minute since we've had the three of us all together. Wes been laying low for a little while, but not slowing you down, or not slowing down. You were still out checking out lacrosse the other night as your Seahawks got a win over May River in a big Loco matchup, and great to have you back with us tonight, buddy. And Max Arraj in the car, so we've just got a little snippet of him, a little thumbnail, but he'll be joining us in full color later on in the show as we bring you the Monday night edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown, brought to you by Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, and our official real estate closing attorney. They're our all-star sponsor, and they've been with us since the beginning in 2017, and they can help you with all your legal needs right in downtown Bluffton. Mickelson Law Firm. Wes, how you been doing, buddy? I know you're infected with
celebrating a birthday today.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Wes joining us for his birthday. You are a St. Patrick's baby. I've got quite a few people I know who have birthdays today, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, it's a busy time for birthdays around here.
Yeah, definitely. It was unfortunate, they usually have
the
parade in your honor every year on Hilton Head, and that was wiped out by the weather, unfortunately. So Ray Alonzo, wishing you happy birthday. But I think the show still went on today in Savannah. I stayed as far away from that as possible.
Indeed, yeah.
And I know you're infected with the madness, the March Madness. It's been exciting already, and we're getting ready for the big deal coming. We do have an ESPN bracket challenge group.
We do.
The Loco bracket challenge.
Yeah, I got my brackets up and ready to go. I've already gone through those.
I haven't yet. I'm still absorbing a little bit, but I'm going to put the link to the bracket challenge in the comments if anybody wants to join. I'm still listening to my podcasts, getting to hear everybody's analysis. Everybody's on Drake. Everybody's on Drake to beat Mizzou.
Yeah. Really feels like a wide open tournament this year. I don't think there's a clear favorite. I think there's several that could be in consideration in terms of cutting down the nets, but I expect it to be very tight.
Yeah, I think the Cooper Flag injury casts a little doubt.
I wonder how much people would take that into account when we.
I think it just casts a little doubt because I think that I think the Duke would be kind of the clear favorite if not for that injury, or at least the favorite.
Duke or Auburn.
Yeah,
it's either Duke or Auburn for me that are like clear favorites.
I think Florida's up there too.
I do too. I think Florida's rising right now.
Florida's good. Yeah,
they're really strong.
And I think Houston's also a contender. I think you have to. I think. I mean.
I think so too. And I think St. John's
great defensive team, great defensive basketball team. You can't discount Houston.
Right. And St. John's is in that same mold, and they would meet in the Elite Eight if I'm not mistaken, which would be a really interesting game. And then would give you a matchup on that side of one team that's defensively minded first. So, it's a good bracket.
The thing that everybody's been talking about right now is how in the world did North Carolina get into the first four? I still don't know how that happened. I still don't understand why it happened, because we're talking about a North Carolina team that went 1-12 against Quad 1 schools and had losses to Quad 3 and 4 schools. So I don't understand it, but it is what it is, and I'm excited for an upcoming, as always, fantastic March Madness tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, man. But we'll get into that a little later. We'll keep it local for now. Marcus Walsh is going to join us a little later on as well, so be good to see his face, hear his voice. He was calling some USCB baseball over the weekend, so I'm sure he'll want to talk a little bit about that, and we'll see what else comes up along the way. We do need to get into the reporting of some scores, though, because we have a bunch of them since we were together on Friday. I don't know how much we mostly talked about USCV baseball game on Friday because it was Donnybrook out in the Ville. They ended up losing that one in 12 innings and then were swept on Saturday. Softball suffered a similar fate. They lost a close game on Friday and then got swept into run rules on Saturday down at Flagler. So rough weekend for the Sand Sharks. I haven't checked in on the golf today, but I know they were playing today at the Old Field Intercollegiate.
Nice.
Home game for the women. And then some soccer scores. Nothing that stood out a whole lot except for region play starting in 6-4A. Bluffton boys 1-0 over Beaufort. Bishop England 1-0 over Hilton Head, and May River 7-0 over Colleton. The table. Whale Branch blew out McIntosh County. Edisto beat Hampton 3-1. On the girls' side, Bishop England 3-2 over Hilton Head. That was a good game. Beaufort High a 2-1 win over Bluffton. I wasn't sure which way that one would go. And May River skunked Colleton 10-0. So that's how the Region 6-4A soccer table starts out, and we still got many more games to come and some really good matchups. Those are going to be really fun. On the baseball diamond, Patrick Henry a win over Colleton Prep 10-7. John Paul dropped one to Wilson Hall, and Trinity Collegiate beat Hilton Head Christian. So both those region series are split so far, I believe. Bridges Prep is looking solid. Beaufort took a loss to James Island, but they're playing a tough schedule early. May River softball blowing out James Island. That was eye-opening, 14-2.
Yeah, that was.
Addison Roppelt had 6 RBIs in that one. So they look like a solid squad. Bridges Prep softball is looking good, and Beaufort took a loss to Hanahan. That used to be a region matchup, but no mas. Hilton Head boys lacrosse, they had the big win over May River 11-5 on Thursday, and then a big win 18-3 over Philip Simmons on Saturday. Wes, I've got some highlights from that game that you were able to shoot that I can share, but you can tell us a little bit about the Seahawks, who look to be the power, the boys lacrosse power of the
May River got off to the strong start, but Hilton had found their groove, and they really move the ball well and have a bunch of tremendous attackers with just great all-around sense of the game, and it looked seamless down the stretch. And then the big highlight was right before the half, where they went down the length of the field and scored with 8 seconds to go on a buzzer beater. Just incredible.
Oh, wow.
The way they were able to put that together to wrap up the half. But Hilton Head's looking in really solid form early on this season. This is always a great rivalry between these two teams, but certainly dominated mostly by the Seahawks after that early stretch. But keeping on this Hilton Head team, I think they're playing as the best as they have done in a while right now. No doubt about that. They are looking really, really solid.
Yeah, and they were in action. So, I originally had them in action tonight, but it looks like their matchup with Eastside did not occur. So unfortunate there. That's how it goes in spring, though. There's a lot of stuff that gets scheduled, and then it's like, oh, hey, we ran out of buses. we got them all signed out. We had a region game rescheduled or whatever, and now we can't travel on that date like we thought we could. So that kind of stuff happens. But no, they're looking solid.
They really are.
Some other stuff from the weekend. May River did bounce back, boys lacrosse, and beat River Bluff 12-8. Here's a Donnybrook for you. Carlton Prep 20, Andrew Jackson 10 in baseball. And then Paul the Sixth spoiled Jay Wendell Day.
Score? God, that sounds more like a football.
20-10. I know that sounds like football. But Andrew Jackson, I don't think they kicked field goals, so that wouldn't work out. Maybe they got a 2-point conversion and a safety. But Paul the Sixth spoiled Jay Wendell Day at Hilton Head. They beat Bluffton 5-4 in a really good game, and then they blew out Hilton Head 14-1, which baseball's a funny game, so you can never make too much of the transitive property, but they spoiled the big day over there. On the note of Jay Wendell Day, which I thought was a really cool thing that the baseball team did at Hilton Head, the boys soccer team is doing something very similar for a friend of the program who was also a friend of mine, Doug Sheeran, who passed away recently. He
Yeah.
had a brief battle with cancer that he really didn't. He kept to himself. He kept, people didn't even realize he was unwell, and then he was gone. And I certainly respect that. He didn't want to be treated differently in his, in his the end of his life. He wanted to keep living his life the way he always had, and have people treat him as they normally would. And I respect that. But they're Pete Savarese, who's the coach over there. Great friend of everyone. I think everybody loves Pete. I go way back with him to when he played at Hilton Head Christian Academy back in my early days at the Packet. But Pete is the coach there, and they're doing Doug Sheeran night on the 20th, I believe, which would be, who are they playing there? Yeah. No. What night is it? I got to figure out what night this Doug Sheeran night is, but very cool gesture for a terrific guy who was gone too soon.
Yeah.
Must be the 21st at home against May River, which should be a very entertaining game. Boys soccer, May River and Hilton Head. So. Cool. That gets us started. We're gonna start digging into tonight's scores here as I track them down in real time, because I was coming in hot tonight after softball practice and dad duty, pick up duty at Oscar Fraser Park. Go pick up the ball players. But yeah, I guess it's a big night for me because it's game day eve. We have our first varsity softball game tomorrow, where we're keeping score and playing for keeps. And it's a little Jasper County rivalry. We got Legacy Christian coming over to the Ville. I believe they're the reigning South Carolina Association of Christian Academies, or whatever it is, SCACA, champs. So we've probably got our work cut out for us, but should be a good test for us. And I think we're prepared. Certainly, there's going to be things happen that we're not prepared for, but I think we're pretty well prepared. We had our best practice of the year today. We had 20 kids out, and I think we're good to go. To lay out my jersey and socks. Not yet, but no, I don't coach in a uni. I should though, because they're fire. But we didn't get enough smalls and mediums as is, and we didn't get any extra smalls. And I wasn't. Yeah, I'm trying to trade a bunch of big jerseys for a bunch of little jerseys because we thrive on speed. We got a bunch of little kids. We need more. And we're young. No seniors, 2 juniors, ton of freshmen, sophomores, and middle school kids. So it's fun. It's fun. Can't wait. We do have the Luke right though. I do wear a schmedium. And we definitely have the Luke right. We're going tomorrow. Max, you'll appreciate this. Tomorrow we're going with the orange jerseys, the gray pants, with the green socks, belt, and visor. Orange bows always. We're always rocking orange bows. So we should be putting it on tomorrow. We should be looking good. Look good, play good, right? So yeah. We might have to pose for a team picture tomorrow before the game since we're all dressed up. But should be a good time. I'll tell you about some more sponsors real quick. We've got Hudson Seafood House on the docks, back for another round on the Loco Booster Club. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island, and presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired not earlier tonight, aired Thursday with Wes at the controls. Wes was filling in for me, producing on Under the Bus, which was good stuff. And then we also have our new sponsor, Hilton Head Furniture, where they sell great handcrafted furniture made right up the road in Hickory, North Carolina. They went looking for good stuff made in the USA and found it pretty close to home, and they bring it right here to Hilton Head, where you can buy it and get quality stuff, better than you can get in most of the stores, and stuff that will last a long time from Hilton Head Furniture, our newest Loco Booster Club member. Boys, you got any topics you want to kick around while I investigate some scores from tonight, or any news?
Wes, you're muted, bud.
Oh, Wes is on mute.
Wes, you're muted, bud.
Wes, you're muted, buddy. We can't hear you.
Okay.
There we go.
More news from May River on the track and field department because the boys captured the Marlin Klein Invitational on Saturday over the weekend. Tremendous showing. Enough to see if I can track down some individual results from that. But the guys went, the girls came in second. So excellent performance there from the Sharks in this tournament.
Indeed,
and tremendous.
One of my favorite things to always look at is tracking who's the fastest man in the Loco. And so far, at least on this weekend, Samaj Hicks from Ridgeland, 10.94 in the 100. That's cooking with gas.
Woo.
And he also won the 222.64, edging our guy Jonathan the Jet Kelly. So Samaj got some gas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's fast. Yeah, that's really fast.
Yeah, when you're breaking 11, that's cooking. That's pretty solid.
That's college worthy, by the way.
Yeah.
That's something.
Oh yeah, Samaj is that kind of talent. He's the kind of guy who would be a tremendous fit at USCB. He would be a top end type guy for them. Jonathan Kelly did win the 110 hurdles in 14:61, so that is a solid showing as well.
That is.
And let's see some other highlights. Hey, River was cooking in the 4x4, 336. That's solid. Asa Haskins won the high jump. I love seeing multi-sport athletes in here. That always makes me happy.
Wes, do you know of any other teams that May River was competing against in that invitation?
I will check and see the.
About everybody was in there. Let's see. I'm about to get to the team scores here. No, I'm not. They don't have team scores. But we had Whale Branch, May River, Bamberg, JP2, Ridgeland, Wilston Elko, Allendale, Hardyville, Calhoun County, Royal Live Oaks, Ridgeland. Did I say JP2, Battery Creek? It was a whole mess of them. It wasn't quite as big as Woodland or Somerville meets were, but it was pretty good size.
Yeah, that's a lot of schools from the area. It gives you an idea of what some of these programs are going to be looking like as the season continues.
And like it's good because the smaller division schools like us can look at it and just filter out, in their mind the 4As and the 3As and the 2As and just kind of look at where they place among the 1As and just start to get an idea. That's the great thing about these meets is, a lot of these kids, they're not terribly concerned about their overall place. They're concerned about where they place among their peers, So like Kamari was 7th in the 200 for us. 3 guys from Blackville Hilda and Samaj ahead of him, but now he knows what he's chasing. He's only 2.5 off the pace, so it's good to know. But yeah, we got to give more love to track because some of the best athletes in the area are out there, and it's good stuff. One of the kids was asking me today when I'm going to come to a track meet. I was like, "Bo, it's hard for me because like every other Saturday I'm travel softball."
Right. Yeah, it's hard to get everywhere.
And it doesn't always work out with my schedule. But I wish they knew how much I love track. I love track. It's one of my favorite sports. Here's one for you. Best Patty's Day memory. I think it was the time that I caught a leprechaun on a glue trap in the basement of my bar, and I drank some paint. And no, that's an always sunny. That's an always sunny reference for Libby. Do you guys have a best Patty's Day memory?
I have a bunch. Obviously, it's the baby of St. Patrick's Day baby. I've had a bunch of good ones.
Yeah, facts. But what were your best ones that were not necessarily birthday related?
Not birthday related, being at the parade as a kid in Hilton Head. Those were probably one of the better memories I've had, just interacting. And when I was in elementary school, I was in the parade for a group once, a couple times. So just those memories of being a kid around here and being a part of the parade was
Yeah.
always fun. Yep. And unfortunately, it was sad to hear that they had to call it off because of the rain, and
Yeah.
it didn't happen. Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I think because how many times have I been in the parade? I think I've been in the parade like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
So at least the Hilton Head parade.
Yeah.
But the one thing I remember is every year my church we have a barbecue crew at my church who's won. They used to do a huge barbecue festival and cook off
Ooh,
at Honey Horn every year on Hilton Head.
nice.
And they'd always win it. Like, so award-winning barbecues. They've traveled the state and half of the southeast winning awards and stuff like that. So
I am here for barbecue always.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so they sell the barbecue at the parade every year, and it's always so good. I love everything about it. And they make their own pulled pork, their own.
Can I make a
barbecue
confession?
Yeah.
I've lived here 20 years. I've never been to the Hilton Head St. Patrick's Day parade.
Never.
Not once. Not once.
Ooh.
I have a long-standing feeling about parades that, in general, I don't need to go. The one that I've always made an exception for is the Bluffton Christmas Parade, but that's
Okay.
just because we have a
I've only been
friend
to that
who
one
lives.
once.
Yeah, see, that's because we have a friend who lives like right on the route,
Mm.
and they have like the coolest backyard. And so like the kids hang out and play there until you hear the parade
Yeah.
coming, and then they run over to Pin Oak Street and they
Hmm.
get just obscene amounts of candy
Yeah.
and cheat
Couldn't,
death running out into the road, and then
Yeah.
they go back and eat all their candy and all the food and the sweets, and then they
Yeah.
go play Rambo football in the backyard, and I just play referee and tell them, don't, ooh, watch out for that thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a great time.
Yeah.
But
'Cause I've done the
otherwise,
Christmas parade as
parades,
well. Yeah.
if you've seen one,
Yeah.
you've seen them all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I only
to a
like parades
degree.
when I know the people in them. So I guess like that's why I don't. But I would know a lot of people in the Hilton Head one too. I should
mean,
go
I've
to
never
this
done- I've
parade. I
never-
almost certainly
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
But it also, I remember years in a row where we had waves practice during the parade, and there would
Oh.
be kids that would miss
okay.
practice for the
Oh,
parade.
yeah.
Kids would
Right.
miss practice to go to the Hilton Head St. Patrick's Day parade, and that didn't sit well with me. That's not an excused absence in my mind. Well, our family
Yeah.
always goes, well, not your kid this year because he's got baseball practice. He's gonna have to stay
Right.
behind.
Yeah. I will say
Philosophically,
I've never done the Savannah St. Patrick's Day parade.
I did it once, not the parade, just River Street. That was the only time I ever needed to experience that ever. That was the most
Yeah.
anxious day of my life.
Dude, it's
I felt like
huge. That
I
parade
felt
is
like I
so
could have
big.
gotten in a fight at any moment without
Yeah,
any
dude,
knowledge
it's a
of why
big-
I was in a fight.
It's a huge parade.
You had
It's
to
the
pay
second
to go
largest-
to a
yeah,
bathroom that wasn't disgusting.
Right.
Everybody
I
was
mean,
just sloppy by mid-afternoon,
I think it's like
falling
the-
down on the cobblestones. It was awful.
It's like the second largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the country.
Well,
yeah.
Savannah's top two. You have
Huge.
Chicago, probably Savannah.
Boston.
Boston's up there.
Boston.
I would think Savannah's got to be third behind Boston and
Boston.
Chicago.
They're either
Chicago,
second
they
or
paint
third.
the river green. I mean,
Yes.
It's either Chicago, New York, or Boston that's ahead of Savannah. Savannah's probably third or fourth, but it's still, for Savannah, that's huge. Like, that's a huge parade.
Yeah.
It is
it
massive.
is sloppy. I'm not a booze guy. I can't handle drunk people in mass. Like it just
Yeah, no, I can't either.
not my scene at all. But anyway, it is St. Patty's there. I hope you all wore your green so you didn't get pinched. I wear green a lot these days, so this was
yeah,
for
that's
once
very
I
true.
didn't even have to think about it. But I did wear green draws just for good measure, if anybody needed to know. But I do have some baseball and or softball scores from tonight to report from Game Changer. We should get a Game Changer sponsorship going, but regardless, we're going to give them love because Game Changer is the best app to come along in my life in like a long time and just keeps getting better. JP2 11-0 over Battery Creek. That was baseball. Hilton Head 20-6
Whoa.
over Battery Creek. What is
Wow.
that? Softball?
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, that's
Okay.
junior varsity softball.
Hmm.
Never mind.
Okay.
Apparently,
Wow.
Hilton Head JV softball is a unit though, because they've been
Wow.
rolling
They're
people.
growing. That program's growing because that's a young program. They were a young
Well, they have a new
varsity
coach
team
this
last year.
year, Nikki Perry, which I know from setting up a game with her, and they're coming to the Ville
Yeah.
later this season. And I know their varsity has kind of been up and down this year, but it looks like their JV is really rolling. So
Which
the
is a
future
good
is bright
sign
there.
for good
Yep.
sign
Very
for
good.
Hilton.
Yep.
Bluffton baseball lost to Frederica 7-5.
That's interesting.
Hilton Head baseball beat Bishop England 6-5.
Ooh.
That is a
Oh, okay.
big win for them. I'm going to
Yes.
pull up the box score here. They won it in the 8th. They scored in the 7th to tie it, and
Oh,
then
wow.
won it in the bottom of the 8th. It's going to be
It makes
an
it makes me
error by
wonder.
the pitcher that brings
It makes me
home
wonder
Ooh.
about that
winning
Hilton
run.
Head Christian Hilton Head game from last week. It makes me wonder a bit about that.
Yeah. Beaufort, got to be softball. Nope. Beaufort softball blanked Bishop England 15-0. Surprisingly, Bishop England is not good at softball. I thought they would be better. But not throwing shade. Just I thought they would have a solid
Yeah,
program, but
I
I
agree.
guess it hasn't latched on there, at least right now. Oceanside 4-3 over Beaufort in baseball. We got one in progress. Dorchester baseball leading Carleton Prep 5-4. Wait, one of those is baseball, one of them softball. The other one's 6-2, Dorchester. That's about all I got at the moment, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a slower-ish night, but tomorrow is going to get wild. A lot, especially big soccer heavy night. And then lots of soccer. Lots of soccer. Some lacrosse and baseball, especially skiza. A lot of skiza baseball games tomorrow, and then softball as well. But yeah, this is the point. Once you get mid-March, this is the point where really things start to come in bunches in terms of big time region games and spring sports and just events in general. And looking forward to getting back into it. I've taken a few days off. I'm heading to see some soccer tomorrow night. Hilton Head Bluffton in a big early season region boys matchup. And Hilton Head boys soccer, I've really been impressed. Only seen them once, but they've got some stout defenders. And I love the fluidity and the way they played against Benedictine when I saw them the first time. So that is going to be a very interesting game and a a huge one on both sides. An early region matchup between especially with the Bluffton team too, that's been playing some good soccer to start the year. And I've got to see both those teams. Really impressed by the seen from both of them. So
Yeah.
it should be a great match on the island tomorrow.
It really should be. There's going to be a bunch of them this season, but yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. My
Oh no,
team
you're
is
good.
sending me messages. Boy, JJ. What? I ain't got no Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat. I tried that years ago, and I was like, this is not for me.
Snapchat's still big with the kids around here.
Oh yeah, it's huge with the kids, but I don't get it. Wes's greatest birthday present of all time: Steph Curry choosing Davidson. I don't know if that
Well, I don't
happened on
know
your
if I was
birthday.
yeah.
I don't know what day that happened on, but yeah. Anyways, sorry, I'm very confused by the group chat right now because somebody's saying something about white pants, and I haven't given anybody white pants. So no, we're wearing the gray pants that I have in my room. It's game day Eve again. It's chaos on my end right now. Trying to manage the group chat. What else do we have going on tonight on the soccer front? I know Beaufort beat Hardyville girls. I know we scored. That was an improvement over the last time we played them, but I don't know the final tonight. But I know Beaufort got the dub. And then boys soccer, we had Patrick Henry and JP2. Our friend the Stricklander could tell us what was going on there. I'm getting tired, boys. But I don't have a score there. Max, you got a HHCA
yeah.
boys soccer game?
Against Beeford Academy.
I'm gonna hop off here real quick, and I will look for it as I
Oh,
transition over.
I
to
got
my-
it. HHCA 4 BA2.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
that's a good win for
Yeah.
HHCA.
Solid
I
win
would
for the
say.
Eagles, or the Eagles against the Eagles.
Yeah. Solid win for the Eagles. Tough loss for the Eagles.
Yeah.
We also have a Hardyville Beeford girls score. If we
Oh, you do?
No, I said we also have that one that I was asking you if you're
Oh
able
no,
to.
I don't know the final. I know Hardyville scored, but I know Buford won. That's
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And then
Buford
yeah.
blanked us last time, so
Yeah.
JJ with the white pants. Washboard J. I do not have a washboard stomach at all, and even if I did, I would not be taking pictures of it on Snap. My dad bod is better now than it was a month ago, though, because I'd be getting them steps in and dragging fields and mopping floors for basketball training and cleaning out closets and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I'm getting my workouts. And I am running out of steam. I'm getting tired. Don't even know what to talk about at the moment, other than March Madness. I suppose we could go there
Yeah.
and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Obviously, when you look at the surprises of, I'll tell you what, I feel bad for West Virginia. I feel bad for some
Yeah.
Indiana fans as well. I thought both deserved it over North Carolina. When you look at just the body of work and the performance that UNC had against those the Q1 Q quadrant one schools, I mean, it's just hard to make a case why North Carolina deserved it over a team like a West Virginia. Uh, there's a lot of politics that go into selection. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And the blue blood schools
Yeah.
get the nod when it's close. A lot. That's just how it works. That's just how it works when you have a team with that big a tradition over the many years. It's hard to, they get the tiebreaker sometimes. And I'm not, I'm not too, as agreeable with that decision. I'm sure there are a lot of people as well
Right.
who are not happy, but it's difficult to select 68 teams from a grouping of other teams that deserve it, and there's going to be a lot of a lot of unhappy, especially fans of some of the other teams that were left on the other side of the bubble. So tough one there for North Carolina. In terms of other surprises, as I pull up the full bracket here, I made some preliminary picks. I haven't officially submitted it, but just did a little bit of research today as we get into the pre-tournament couple of days. But the SEC was the other big storyline with a record-breaking amount of teams that they brought into the tournament, which that conference, of course, they've got with the expansion of other schools that probably came from football. You're starting to see the SEC really dominate nationwide, and we could have like an Auburn Alabama championship game. That would be insane if something like that happens. But 14 SEC teams in the 2025 tournament. That is a record. We've not seen that for any conference up to this point. That's a bit of a shocker, but I mean, not too much a shocker. I mean, you'd expect it as much of a power conference as it is, but still, that's pretty crazy. But in terms of just the makeup of these regions, I'm really interested in the Duke, the East region with Duke leading the way. What's stats and Cooper Flag? Is he going to be at 100%? We will get back to the form that we saw for him. I think Alabama could make it interesting. I think Wisconsin, somewhat of a team to watch out for, but
also a possible early exit team. I think they're a
Right.
team that could be an upset special.
Right.
I do have a bit more local news here from the
Yeah.
comments section. Colin Paris weighing in. Hilton Head Prep boys soccer 7-0 over Ridgeland.
Nice.
First home win in a long time
Ooh.
for Hilton Head Prep. So congrats to our guy Lucas O'Grady, who is leading the charge over there. Max ready to come back. Marcus
How do you
ready to
feel
come in.
about how do you feel about the Mizzou draw taking on a Drake team that could be?
Well, before we dig deeper into the madness,
Yeah.
third time crazy month,
Yeah.
third month crazy time. Let's get Marcus Walsh in here as
All
soon as
right.
he gets himself set up. But in the meantime, look in the comments for the link to the Loco Bracket Challenge.
Yes.
No money on the line or anything, just Loco bragging rights, just
Yeah.
playing amongst our friends. And if we get around to it, we might send you a T-shirt or something. We'll figure it out. Looks like Marcus Walsh is all dolled up and ready to join us. I do believe. I do declare. What's up, Marcus? Still
Happy
getting
St.
settled?
Patrick's Day, fellas.
Happy
Same to
St.
you.
Patty's. What were you doing tonight? Singing in the choir or something?
Yeah, I went into work today. It was a very easy day at work, but I thought I might as well wear my Irish
Look at
vest
that
with my
tie.
shamrock tie, and there's
Very
the
good.
reporter badge.
Very
You
good.
never know who you
Very
might see on a Monday coming into WHHI, but filled out my bracket, was able to print it off at work, filled it out at work for a bit while things were slow, and
There he is.
I feel pretty good about it. I'm
Max
not
Arraj
sure
rejoins us.
how far you guys have gotten in as far as regions or just talking
I
teams.
only have, well, we haven't gotten very far at all. As
Okay.
far as I haven't filled out a bracket, I just have kind of thoughts in my head at this moment.
Okay.
When I get it down to putting it on paper, that's when it gets real serious.
Here's the question that leads into that, especially with it going from 64 to 68, whenever that was. Are you a guy that makes sure that your bracket is filled out by tip on Thursday once we get to 64, or are you a guy that fills it out prior to tip?
Thursday,
Okay,
you don't get any points for picking those first
and
4 games
that's
right.
that's a fair
And
point.
and
That
who
is true.
wins absolutely matters in picking
Yeah,
the next
especially
game.
if you're putting in one of those other teams.
To just go, I think whoever wins this will beat that team is idiotic because
Yep.
unless you've studied both matchups,
Right.
like that's
Right.
crazy. So no, I wait till after the first 4 to officially pick my bracket.
Yeah, I picked my teams, but when first 4 comes around and whoever comes out of it, that's when I will reassess and think.
Well, we
do
have
I need
seen
to change
first 4
everything?
teams make it to the Final Four. Remember VCU back
Right.
many years ago.
And it's been kind of a trend in recent
true.
years that at least
Yep.
one first 4 team at least gets to like the Sweet 16 or something, you
Yeah.
know, like so you kind of want to target that one team that maybe they came in hot and slipped in late and then they
I hope
just
it's not North Carolina, man.
they just catch a heater.
You never know. It could.
I have
It certainly
I
could.
wouldn't be surprised. I'll tell you
I
that.
have
Now,
North Carolina. I have the Tar Heels getting through that first matchup against San Diego State, but
I don't
that's
know
it.
about that.
I have Ole Miss knock, and I was back and forth on it a little bit this morning. I've got Ole Miss knocking them off.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
Marcus, is this true? Do you have a Cooper flag tattoo
Absolutely not.
that clashes with your Christian Leitner tattoo?
I've got a Duke luggage bag. I've got a Duke tie that I wore to USCB both days. Max can attest to that,
Yes.
and you too. You can as well, JJ. You saw me on Friday.
I mean, I saw you on Friday, but I could not attest to what tie you were wearing.
Okay.
If they asked me in a court of law, I would have to say I have no idea, sir.
He was
plead the
exhausted
fifth.
and frustrated on
Yeah.
Friday.
Yes.
Me?
No-
Yeah,
no
I
question.
was. We had a
That was
little.
a fun weekend for me.
We had a turning point type of practice Friday. We
Yes,
kind
we
of
did.
turned up the heat and we wanted to see how they'd respond, and man, did they respond well. So
Good.
we're ready for tomorrow. Yeah,
Great.
it was good. But look at that. Yeah. Rick Pitino, who did in fact pay prostitutes for recruits, allegedly. I think that's beyond alleging at this point.
Yeah.
And
despite
he
that,
is sort of the story of this NCAA tournament, though, because that St. John's team looks like the real deal. I love what the committee did with that bracket. They first of all, they set up the potential for a Calipari versus Patino matchup in round 2, which would be epic.
You think that's not a coincidence?
And even if you don't get that, you still get Patino against a blue blood against Kansas.
Right.
You get Self and Patino. That's what I have.
That's a great matchup as well. Well, I got to pick Arkansas because down with Kansas.
Yes.
Yeah, clearly.
I've got the Johnny's going a long way.
Yeah. There are people who are going to hate Rick Pitino for what he did. But
and then you get Patino, potentially St. John's versus Houston, in what could be one of the ugliest but most interesting matchups of the whole tournament if it takes place. And it's going to just be an absolute defensive brawl. And one of them's going to go on to the Final Four.
I'm just going to say, people can hate Rick Pitino for what he did, but I'm not going to lie. He is still among some of the best coaches in basketball history.
No question.
Without a doubt.
Zero question about that.
Without a doubt. Well, and his son was pretty good, too.
His son is good.
Pretty solid, too.
His son coaches New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, and they're in the tournament as well.
Yeah.
I have them
Little Ricky
with a big upset in round 1.
Ooh.
I have them knocking off Marquette.
Ooh.
Yeah, I debated about
Lobos
that. That is a
New
mighty
Mexico.
big upset. I do love the Lobos. Since I was a kid, I loved the Lobos because late at night they would be playing in the pit, and it was awesome. Man, I loved the Lobos when I was a kid. They were one of my favorite teams to watch on the West Coast.
Marcus, I'm not gonna lie, that Marquette New Mexico game, I had to debate about that for about 5 minutes to figure out what I wanted to do there.
I know, right?
I honestly look at that one as like a very obvious and very realistic upset.
Yep.
Yeah.
Olivia's gone off the rails in the comments, but he should definitely watch White Lotus.
We're not gonna put those up.
I like Colorado State in round 1 too, against Memphis.
Ooh.
How many brackets are you filling out, Walsh?
Right now, just one.
Yeah. Is it one bracket to rule them all? I'm a one bracket to rule them all guy.
Yeah.
I used to
fill out 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean,
I go with one.
Well, my third bracket's doing great though. Shut up.
It's your third bracket.
Shut up.
I do too.
No, it's my first bracket now. It was my third bracket.
It's my top bracket because it's the best.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden your third bracket tanks in the second round. And
man.
I do too. One for like all seriousness and like really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
like strategic and
just,
one goofball.
Just for
the other one.
And normally the
oops all
crazy
upsets.
one does the best. And normally the crazy one always does the best.
I tell you, who has even more upsets than I do is Sam, because she filled one out. I think she's going to get at least in the Yahoo challenge to win $50K.
Oh,
I'm going to put mine in for that one.
You got to throw in. Yeah, you got to throw in for
Absolutely.
some cash.
I will say this.
Might even put her in the Loco one if you guys don't mind.
So,
of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure there is
it's open to the public.
I'm pretty sure there's a button on ESPN. I could be wrong about this, but there is a button where you can press it and it just puts out the bracket of all upsets. So then you just have the weirdest bracket. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that the other day.
There's
so let's talk about upsets. Who are your big upsets? We're looking here at the top half of the South and the East. So I don't know. I wouldn't think Auburn's going down. We're talking like 12 seat or higher type upset, maybe 11 seat or higher.
I got one for you.
UC San Diego.
Yes.
I almost took that. I got another one I'll talk about in a second.
I took
almost only counts on horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, here's the upset for you. I did take San Diego to beat Michigan.
Okay.
So I put that out there. San Diego's got 30 wins, 30-4 record.
Yeah.
And they're looking really strong.
I feel like Michigan got hosed.
The only thing that is worrying at the upset is just the experience of like first time the program's been in the situation. Can they handle the pressure?
Their first year of eligibility.
What's their mascot?
I think it's the Tritons.
The Tritons, yeah.
Yes, that's a great mascot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I thought Michigan kind of got hosed on seed. I thought they should have been seeded a little higher, and now they get a tough draw. That's definitely a potential 12-5. Liberty, Oregon is what I'm hearing people like, but I like Oregon there.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like Arizona. Now A&M Yale is interesting. Those Ivy matchups are always interesting because
I took Yale.
Much like the Mizzou Drake game, it comes down to who dictates pace.
Right.
I took A&M.
If Yale's able to make them play in the half court, they're going to win. And if A&M's able to make them play fast, they're going to win.
I took A&M, but I had to think about that one for a couple minutes. I took A&M in the end, but I had to think through that one real quick because I always know there's always a chance with one of the Ivy League schools that you could see an upset.
Well, I mean, if you think too much, you can talk yourself into any of them.
You talk yourself into anything or out of anything.
That's why I try not to think
Lipscomb, Iowa State seems like an easy one, but then you're like, well, but Iowa State's got a key player hurt, and you start talking yourself into it. I do think that 6-11 game's going to be good no matter who wins it, I think.
There were a couple of teams with injuries, Iowa State being one, Auburn another, that are banged up that I don't have going nearly as far as I initially thought. So that's certainly a big deal what you're bringing up right there, JJ.
Don't sleep on the Grizz. Don't sleep on the Grizz of Montana against Wisconsin.
I will say this about the 6-11.
They could give them a game.
I will say this about the 6-11 matchup with Ole Miss and either San Diego State or UNC. I'm going to have to think long and hard about because I think San Diego State beats UNC. That's what I
do too. But I think Ole Miss beats either of them. But I'm
agreed. And for that reason, I might be taking Ole Miss in that one.
BYU VCU is an interesting matchup. That doesn't even feel like an upset if they win. That feels like a fairly even matchup.
Yeah, I mean 6-11 or 7. Yeah.
6-11s are kind of.
I don't call 6-11s. I don't really call. It kind of feels like the 12.
Yeah, I agree. 5-12 is really where the upset really starts for me. Now I know 9/8 is technically an upset, but no,
that doesn't count.
I'm with Bob Ryan on that one. Bob Ryan every year on Kornheiser. Bob Ryan says, "I don't count that because Kornheiser has you just give your upsets, right? So everything else is chalk, and then he goes through the bracket." And Bob Ryan will never tell him the 8-9 upsets because he doesn't consider them upsets.
Right.
So funny. Florida should truck Norfolk, but I do have Norfolk PTSD from Mizzou losing to them once. What were you saying, Max?
That's right.
Marcus, what were you thinking when you looked at Michigan State, Bryant? Because I picked Michigan State, but there's always
I have Michigan State.
15 seeds.
Michigan State's the one Big Ten team I trust because of his.
I have Michigan State going a very, very long way. I have them going where the way the bracket shook out, with the fact that I don't have Auburn going as far as I initially thought, and I don't have Iowa State going as far as I initially thought, and I'll let you guys know flat out. I have Auburn and Iowa State both losing to the Spartans. I have Michigan State in the Final Four.
Izzo to the Final Four. Well,
I have Izzo going back to the Final Four in San Antonio.
I
got
consistency.
Right.
I got Michigan State to the Sweet 16, and I put them. I put Iowa State over them for an upset there.
And I'm sure it's not true. The data probably doesn't bear it out. But to me, Izzo teams are typically either, out in the second round or they're in the Final Four.
You go deep.
If he's got the goods, he'll have them playing well at the right time of year, and they'll make them run. Some years he just doesn't quite have the goods, but I think.
Sometimes they go down very early, and sometimes they go deep.
Yeah, but I think they got a shot to make a decent run. Grand Canyon, Maryland is very interesting. They play crazy USCB style basketball.
You know what?
Grand Canyon.
I like Colorado State, but I like Memphis a lot. Like a lot.
I really like Memphis, and I took Memphis. But you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm taking Grand Canyon over Maryland. I had to think long and hard about that one.
I kind of like that one. Clemson McNeese is the scary game, and then High Point is my for sure upset special. I'm for sure on High Point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
I have
for sure
I
on
have
High Point.
Clemson.
They played 10 deep. They go. Their bench scored 51 of their 71 points or something the other night, or 81 points. They sound to me, the breakdown I heard of them sounded a lot like USCB.
Do you think Purdue again?
Purdue is
round?
well. Purdue just went to the Final Four last year, so they're due for another.
They're due for
choke.
regression, but first round
Yeah.
exit.
Oh, they're famous for first round exits.
Yeah,
Painter
obviously
had
they
so
lost to the
many
16.
first round.
Yeah, they
exits.
dropped. They lost
Yeah.
to Fairleigh Dickinson, the 16
Yeah,
seed.
I'm all on.
Yeah, I was
Point.
just wanting to ask you guys because I had picked High Point to begin with.
But what about McNeese? Are you on McNeese? Over
that
Clemson?
one is.
I
That
like
one's
Clemson.
scaring me a bit.
That's a scary game.
It is
McNeese
very
is
scary.
scary.
I picked Clemson over McNeese, but it's I could have gone.
There's
either
always
way.
one
I
pod
like
that gets
coach
totally
Clemson-
blown up.
Clemson-
I like this
Clemson
one.
has done fairly well last couple NCAA tournaments, and they really laid an egg early.
I don't trust Brownell though. He's in the
Last
painter
year,
category for me.
last year they got to the Elite Eight. I actually
They
have
did.
them
They lost to
going.
NC State.
I have them
Yeah.
going further
Yep.
this year. I've got them in the Final Four.
I do too.
Clemson?
Ooh.
I have
Yeah.
Clemson in the Final Four. I
Oh,
thought
that's
long
gonna
and
make or
hard.
break you versus me then, because I'm probably
I
taking
thought
them out
long
round
and
one.
hard about, do I want Tennessee or do I think Tennessee can beat
Well-
Clemson? I think Clemson is on a different level right now, and the way Florida just bashed Tennessee, especially towards the end there.
I think the
went with
ACC
Clemson.
was ASS this year,
They were
and
weak.
I don't think
Yeah.
Clemson's seen anything like what Houston will throw at them.
They
Like-
played Kentucky. They beat Kentucky.
Yeah, I know, but not on a daily basis. Like, I can't
don't
see
know.
it.
They beat,
You could be wrong. You could be wrong, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I'm a Clemson hater. Call me a
Let's say
Clemson
this.
hater if you
Yeah,
must.
That's the best.
I'm
Clemson
sure
team
you guys are all gonna pick Drake, so just go ahead.
I picked Missouri.
Look,
I
if
went
we
with
can't-
Mizzou.
I like
if we
Mizzou.
can't
I
beat a
like Mizzou.
D2 team, then we shouldn't have even come. Like,
I will say
the,
Drake.
the whole
Drake,
team,
in terms of statistics,
the whole team
Drake,
came from D2.
Drake has the slowest pace of any
Yes.
college D1
Mhm.
basketball team right now. So that could be a
Yes.
worry if you're Missouri.
Yeah,
but
they
I
take away.
It's
possession.
gonna be absolute misery for me to watch. Absolute misery.
I picked
Actually,
Missouri.
yeah, I will be
Thursday
able
night,
to watch.
7:30. Yeah.
UNC
Yeah.
Wilmington, by the way, is looking interesting. For
That
me.
one,
Texas Tech.
Like Sam took
see, maybe it's wishful thinking for me, but
don't see
I
it.
envision this world where USCB
Sam
gets
took
to
him over
beat
Texas Tech.
Drake, Wilmington, and Kansas on its way to the Elite Eight. Or to the
Oh man.
That is a
Um,
possibility, though. Kansas is not great this year.
we already beat them
No,
once.
they're not.
We already beat them once this year. I would love to play them again in the tournament.
Which
And
is
I
why
went-
I have.
Don't
which
think
is
the
why I
committee
have-
didn't do that stuff on purpose.
And this is why. It's why I have Arkansas over Kansas in the first round. I think Kansas.
I do
goes out in the
too.
first round.
I do too. I think Kansas is trending in the wrong direction right now.
I have the
Yeah.
Johnnies beating them in round 2.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do too.
I got the
I'd say
Johnnies
John's-
regardless.
I have
I
St.
got-
John's winning.
Poor Omaha. Last team to be picked in. That could be
Oh,
rough on them.
I
That's their
thought
first-
I
this
was
is their
wrong
first
before.
tournament.
Oh yeah, so St. John's has to go through Florida. Ooh, that's gonna be
Yeah.
hell.
Ooh.
That's
And
I've got them losing to
well,
Florida.
We need to get
That's
to that in
gonna
a
be
second,
hell.
but we still have a lot of games to go over in the first round alone.
Well,
Like,
no, just this one section here that really matters. We're just talking upsets right now. We ain't
Yeah.
going through this whole bracket tonight.
Liberty over Oregon.
Yeah, we already talked about
We already
that one
mentioned
as a
Liberty.
possibility.
Yeah.
I like Oregon though, but I do like.
Robert Morris.
I don't really like any of those. Wofford's not it.
CUE.
Illinois could go down in the second round or in the first round to either Texas or Xavier.
Texas or Xavier.
I've got
That's
Texas
for an
knocking them
11
off.
seed. That's dangerous for an 11 seed to have one of those two teams playing you.
Right. Yeah.
Because Texas
So
is sneaky good. And so
I
is
can't
Xavier.
wait, man. Those first 2 days.
Yeah,
of the
Thursday and
tournament
Friday,
are-
one of the best sports watching days of the year.
Oh, I just realized I wasn't even sharing the bracket that I was looking at that whole time. I thought I was.
Yeah. But yeah,
I was
Thursday
looking
and
at the
Friday
bracket.
might be the best sports watching days of the entire year. The first round of March Madness. Wire to wire basketball from noon to midnight. It's fantastic.
I'm sorry, I'm catching up on Libby's comments here because I was looking at another screen. Max taking a private jet to LSU as a recruit. Did they take you to what? I don't think that happened for Max. He certainly did not go on a private jet. You went on a private jet to LSU as a recruit?
As a recruit, yes, I did. They offered me a flight out to Baton Rouge.
Oh wow!
Baton
For real?
Yeah.
Come Baton Rouge.
They offered me a flight out to Baton Rouge. It's a long story.
I think SEC is not overrated, and I think Florida is legit.
I watched very little of Florida. I will say this. I watched a good chunk of that game that they had yesterday against Tennessee. Florida is legit. They are really good.
I didn't. Yeah, Johnny's regardless. Yeah. Drake. A minor. Everybody loves it. Everybody's Team Kendrick. Like literally everyone.
Yeah.
Well, no, I feel all the memes that'll come out with the Say Drake, the meme from the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is Kevin drinking right now? I feel like Kevin's drinking right now. Some of these.
It's hard to tell with him. He's a little off the rails, regardless.
I know, but today he's just a little more weirder than usual.
I think sometimes he just likes to
he stirs the pot.
Let his brain empty.
Right.
And he likes to try to get a rise out of me. He got me the other night when he was leaning into the camera. I could not focus. He had
Despite the fact that he is very much like JJ,
he's just tired and insists on weird.
Out of the four of us, I know him best. I've known him the longest. It's the way he is.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And we just love him.
Yeah.
I get texts sometimes that I'm like, I can't even understand what this means. Like the depth of this, the references that are woven in.
He is a very philosophical thinker, regardless of anything.
Me a few things. He has texted me a few things. I'm just like, what? Where's
he is very philosophical. Which is why we get along, because I'm also a philosopher, amateur philosopher. I do have a minor in philosophy. If I had unlimited funds, I would have a doctorate in philosophy without question. I love to think about thinking and think about what all this is about.
Yep. Marcus, I gotta ask,
my favorite thing.
Who do you have in your Final Four?
Well, I already mentioned two of them. I've got Michigan State against, I guess, technically I mentioned three. I've got Michigan State and Florida on the left side of the bracket.
Okay.
And I've got a rematch between Clemson and Duke on the right side.
That's what I have. Ooh. I don't have Florida. I have St. John's beating Florida out.
Wow.
And they're taking on Auburn.
Okay. The issue with Auburn, I think they are the other team that I mentioned that has a guy out. I think I do have Michigan State knocking them off in the round of 8 in the Elite 8. And I have Duke beating Florida to win the title.
Yep, that's fair.
I got
280 counting tiebreakers.
Go ahead, Wes.
I got the Gators over Houston in my my championship match.
Yeah, I got Auburn and Duke for the title. I don't think Clemson can beat Duke a second time. Yeah.
I don't trust any of these teams.
I don't think Clemson can beat Duke.
It's a really wide open tournament this year.
I'm gonna go Michigan State, Florida, Houston. I don't trust nobody in that bracket.
3-1 seed too.
I don't trust Duke, but I don't trust Alabama, and I certainly don't trust Wisconsin. Something weird's happening in this bracket.
Do you
I'm gonna
trust?
predict
Do you
that.
trust
Pretty good,
Arizona
People are saying,
you know,
hey, Clemson's kind of on
at
that
the
list.
top
Not
right?
particularly.
Yeah,
Not
pretty good at winning with
particularly. I don't trust anyone in that bracket.
that region's
Um,
gonna be
I don't know
That's
what I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
do with that region. I might end up with Alabama coming out of there.
Trust Nate Oates. He's been there
I
before.
feel pretty good about Alabama at least getting to the Elite Eight, and I don't feel as sure about the other half of the bracket, so I'll probably go Alabama Final Four. I hate having 2 1s and 2 2s, but it also makes the most sense.
Right, you have to balance
I
the
got
the
Wisconsin,
chalk against the
got
upsets can be
Wisconsin knocking
difficult
Bama off.
because
Yeah.
if you take a chance on the upsets, if you get an upset and you miss on one, it kills your bracket.
As much as I don't trust Duke, though, I don't know that I trust anyone in that bracket to beat them.
So yeah, but then again, I think there's a bit like
Let
there's-
me ask this question out
Yeah.
of just curiosity. Why don't you trust Duke? Is it just a Cooper Flag thing, or
Well, I mean, I hate Duke since childhood. So, like, I'm always the Duke and Kansas are the 2 teams I'm looking to knock out of my bracket at the first
regardless?
opportunity. Yeah, for sure.
You
I
have
mean,
you have animosity. It's not that you don't trust them. You have
but I also
animosity
don't.
towards
I
them,
also
it
don't
sounds
trust
like.
them because of the flag injury. It just
Okay.
makes me nervous.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
that's it.
Okay.
if he's on the court, I always think Duke's gonna have a chance when he's on the court.
Right.
From it.
Yeah. And I think that he can be off the court, certainly in this first
Here's
round.
the question, though: is
Yeah,
he
they
gonna
can
be
get away
on
without him for at
1?
least 1 round and
They've got a few
probably
guys that
2.
can
But I'll
step
tell
up.
you,
Maybe
Mississippi
2.
State, they're no joke.
No, they're not. And that's exactly who I have them
yeah.
playing in the second round. I hope he's
I
ready to
took,
go
I
this
took
weekend.
Baylor. I took Baylor over Mississippi State.
That was
Really?
a toss up
Yeah.
for me a little bit.
yeah,
I went with the dogs.
that's a
I,
tough
be, I
8-9,
believe in this SEC grind that they've been through. I think
Yeah,
these
I
teams
think when
are
in doubt,
ready.
go with the
Here's
go
my
with
question:
it.
And I don't trust the ACC at all because they had 0 ranked matchups, 0 matchups of ranked teams at the time they played in the ACC this season.
Wow.
Duke and Clemson.
That's why I'm
0.
worried about Duke.
No.
Part of the reason
I
I'm
was
worried-
told they
Wow.
had 0 matchups of ranked teams.
Yeah.
Maybe they meant in the ACC tournament. Maybe they meant in the tournament.
That
Maybe Clemson,
might be
maybe
a little bit more
Clemson
likely.
wasn't ranked by the time they played Duke.
That's what I'm
There's
wondering.
no way.
But the
know.
point being that there was not a lot of quality in that league this year. And so
Who did
that
they do?
usually shows up in the tournament, just the quality
Yeah.
of play you've seen all year.
Yeah.
But most of those teams played SEC opponents as well, which I think
They did.
helped
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you. They were. That was a terrible conference this year.
That's just
And
kind of
they-
that's sort of my bracket picking philosophy too,
I mean, that's
though.
kind of
Is
what
I
it's-
try to go into it with sort of an approach, and my approach is, well, which were the strongest conferences? Those are going to be the teams that rise to the
Right.
top.
The problem they
the
have
most.
for the ACC this year is they're becoming terrible in every sport. Like when it comes to like men's like football and basketball, they just. I mean, without North Carolina being what they should be, which is what they aren't at the moment, and that is an actually good basketball program. It's just, yeah, I think without North Carolina, and then you bring in Stanford, Cal, and SMU. And now
Right.
SMU had a good season, and they
In
were probably
football.
on the bubble. Yeah, they were on the
And
well,
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basketball, they did okay
Yeah.
in basketball.
Well, they're going to be fine because they got all that money. All the
Stanford
money.
and Cal were.
So it sounds like JJ, you're
Stanford
not
and Cal
sure.
props up the revenues or the non-revenue sports, though, the Olympic sports.
Yes.
What were you
But
saying,
still.
Marcus?
It sounds like you're not sure of your national championship matchup yet.
Oh, I hadn't
Final
even really gotten
Four.
that far yet, but
Yeah.
I would probably say I take Florida, and I take.
Who'd you have on the bottom right?
I'll take Florida and Houston, and I'll take Florida over Houston. That'll probably be my
So,
pick. I
Houston out of
can't
the bottom
promise
right.
that's what I'll end up with, but those are the 2 that I feel most confident about taking to the Final Four, so I'll probably take them to the championship game. And I think I like Florida in that matchup. Kevin watched Buster Murdoch purchase prepared meals at Samsonite with his girlfriend. Mad respect for son of maids and
Okay,
cooks
we're
making his
starting
own
to.
way. We are veering off the rails now. We're getting into Mandy Matney's territory, so we should probably start wrapping
Yeah.
this thing up. Friend of the show, Mandy Matney.
He's great.
She's wonderful. Fellow Island Packet alum. She is a Jayhawk, though, so I try not to hold that against her. I believe she's from Missouri, but went to KU, and I'm from Kansas and went to Mizzou, so we were just a prisoner swap. Base Hit Live, baseball and softball themed apparel, like Max's Calm Your Mitts hoodie. There it is. Live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com. Get you some great styles. Dr. Ambrose Cole, official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. And I saw that friend of the show, Jacob Alfonso, son of friend of the show, Jay Alfonso of Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland when you need a haircut or not. I saw that Jacob, who trains at Reverence, won a USA Wrestling State Kids Wrestling Championship this year. So congrats to him. I know there were a bunch who did, and I don't have it in front of me to shout out all of them, but congrats to all the Reveres and all the local wrestlers who brought home state titles this weekend. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Get your floors so clean, your feet will thank you. And we already told you to go get your haircut at Jay's Barbershop. So, fellas, parting thoughts?
Got a couple. First off, it was a very fun weekend for me, in particularly Friday evening and Saturday.
Yeah.
Long days. But it was a fun weekend. I was really impressed, obviously, and we talked about it before Friday, with what USCB could do at the plate. And there were several instances in all 3 games over 2 days that they came back with a vengeance offensively and scored run after run after run after run. I was really impressed, and I even mentioned it in game 1 on Saturday. Despite struggling and having a bunch of runners on base, I was really impressed with Joe Turner and how he had some poise in that first game. I thought that he came out and he threw the ball well, grinded it out, and was pretty dang good. That much better than the numbers would indicate. The grit and the fight and the tenacity. Defensively, the team is great. I would say that really the two standouts from a defensive standpoint for me, and there were a bunch that were very close, but Joe Turner stood out to me, and Luke Doty.
Yep.
I mean, that guy.
He had a great catch. I caught the extra innings when I was starting to feel better on Friday. Obviously, I was still feeling not myself, so I took the weekend off. And man, you were having fun over there, Marcus. That Friday night
had a great time.
That went deep into extra innings. Man, I heard your call on the walk-off bomb. That wasn't. I thought that was leaving the yard.
I did too. Man. Obviously.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, that kid was terrific as well. Certainly, and talking about John Davis, a lot of really good performances. But at the end of the day, USCB.
It's unfortunately they don't go in the right column.
Correct, and I mean it's been a struggling season for sure. But you got to control the base paths from a defensive and pitching standpoint, and they have to work on the walks. I mean, way too many walks, way too many high counts. They could really improve if they just focus on those things. There's so many things to like about this team, though, despite that record.
So they're
get out to Richard Gray, folks, and watch
they are
this
off
team
this weekend. They don't play.
They have a single non-conference game with Augusta.
Is that true? Because there's no way they'd come here for one.
We talked about it with Bracken on the rewind. It is true.
For some reason, it comes up as softball on their schedule, but it is a baseball game.
That is strange.
It's a baseball game. Okay,
one gamer on Friday.
Yeah, that's Friday.
There's a whole debacle about that. We need to talk with Bracken again about it.
Yeah, Bracken said what it was. It was like there was originally it's literally just a friendly. They're just coming down to play a game. because
Which is
there
fine.
was like
I
a
have no problem
schedule
with that.
change, and we
Yeah.
both ended up with
An
the
open
open
date.
weekend. So
Right.
just getting
Right.
together for a friendly. I'm
Yeah.
done with it.
Well, no, but I would like. Why would you not like play a doubleheader on a Saturday instead of a single on a Friday?
They're literally gonna not stay over. They're just gonna drive down, play a game, and drive back.
Right. I was
And-
thinking like, but if you come like, why wouldn't you come play a doubleheader instead of just one? I mean,
yeah,
it's just
I
not-
tend to agree with Wes on that.
yeah, I would
have
tend to agree too, but maybe you just don't want to use that much pitching
True.
at that stage or something.
Give them
I
a
don't know.
weekend off. They need a weekend off.
Yeah,
I
I understand that.
Definitely do.
Especially by the way
Yeah.
the season's going, you need a reset. You need a quick reset.
Yeah.
And, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you'd like to stay a little fresh and be able to get at least a game in.
Yeah.
So I understand both
I will.
Yeah,
sides of
I
that.
think
Right.
it
but,
makes a little sense.
yeah.
I will say
The
for
other-
them. Yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
The other thing, just getting away from that real quick, because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page if we want to talk about this. The news that I found out today,
Yeah.
was it mentioned earlier?
No, it wasn't. I wanted to save it. So go ahead.
I found out my mom works. I don't think I'm breaking any rules by saying this. My mom works at Hilton Head Hospital, and she was at work today, and she texted me if I knew a kid that went to Hilton Head named Javarian, and I thought about it for a second, and she didn't know his last name, and I was like, oh boy. And
Yeah.
I texted her. I said, "Is it Hamilton?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, I called some games of that kid, including the top play of the
Yeah.
year from last season, from 23 against Buford, and the tragic passing of Javarian Hamilton over the weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, way, way, way too young, and
Yeah.
he was involved in some things. It sounds like that, unfortunately, had the consequence of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to talk
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, I
just
don't
Well,
because of the
yeah,
fact that-
I wouldn't speculate because
Correct.
you hear
Yeah.
things sometimes that aren't true. And I haven't seen anything.
Seemed like a great kid though, and
Yeah,
it's
reported.
heartbreaking.
That's we've seen, unfortunately.
Yeah,
there's not really too many of these happen.
incredible speed. One of
Yep.
the fastest dudes
Yeah.
I've
Dude,
seen on a
dude could
football
move.
field.
Yeah.
It's tragic, and it's far too often right now. Whether it's there's gun violence taking lives, there's car accidents, there's kids getting.
Just a call to make good decisions and stay safe. I mean, you don't want to risk your life over something like just. I mean, I understand that mistakes happen, and
Yeah. Life is precious.
You don't want to do something that risks losing your life.
That's right. That's right.
all it makes.
It's really sad. I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether it was addiction or not, and that's why I'm not calling it out.
Right.
I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
But certainly
I
that
don't
is a
either.
concern.
Yeah.
Everybody I talk to in every school says it's a problem with the vaping, whether it's nicotine or otherwise,
Yeah.
THC. Alcohol binge drinking has been a problem with high school kids since the dawn of
Yep.
booze, including I did it when I was a kid, and I'm lucky to be alive. And if I did it over, I probably would make some different decisions. Can't say I would because I'd be a kid, but it just life is precious, and the people around us are, and if I don't want to say walk around imagining life without every person you meet and then treating them with the respect they deserve about based on what you imagine life being without them, because that's kind of morbid, but appreciate the people in your life, and look out for them, and lift them up, and help them be better. I mean, every one of us wants to be better than we are, no matter where we are in life. We all want to be better.
And no
than we
matter
are
how
in some
good we
way.
are or how good we
Right.
think we are.
We want to be
because
better.
we're never as good as we think we are.
Some days the self-doubt and the self-esteem gets the better of us, and even though we want to be better, we aren't, and we don't make decisions that reflect that. But in our heart, we all want to be better. And so sometimes it just takes somebody saying, "Hey, man, you got to knock that stuff off." Somebody they care about. And so just, be mindful of your people and what they're doing, and look out for them and take care of each other now more than ever. But yeah, definitely addiction is a real problem. Mental health is a real problem, and it's tied to addiction. So much of addiction comes as an offshoot of mental health issues that you just can't cope with, and it helps you cope, and then it becomes something else, and you become reliant on it. And I haven't had a drink in, what's it been, 26 plus years. I knew before I could legally drink that I couldn't. It wasn't going to work for me. And so you have to be mindful of that. And certainly if you have it in your family tree, you better be extra mindful of it, because you're prone to it. And I knew that growing up, thanks to my mom, and that helped me be prepared to pull the trigger early and say, I can never have a drink again. That it doesn't work for me. I can't do it in moderation. So yes, mental health is absolutely physical health. Many of us do have addictive tendencies. If we are obsessed with anything as much as we are with local sports and this stuff, we probably have those tendencies. So be mindful of it, and certainly be mindful of it in the people around you that you care about, because it's very easy to create bad habits and slip into bad situations, but it might be just as easy to rescue someone from it if you say something. So that was a somber note. Any other parting thoughts, fellas?
Yeah, I mean,
but a necessary one. Rest in power,
No question.
Vari. Rest in power, Vari.
Rest in power, Javarian.
We'll
Without
miss him a lot. So many, unfortunately, that we've had lost, which is just sad. But we continue to push on. We continue to spotlight the local sports scene, and we always put those men and women we've lost in our thoughts for sure. But had a great day, had a great birthday, great weekend. Had some family in town, which is awesome. So just fantastic to have that opportunity.
Did you blow out candles?
So I blow out candles.
Yeah. Did you have cake?
I can tell you,
Was
I
there
did not.
Yeah, cake. Yes, we had cake.
Yeah.
Yep, we had
and
cake.
they didn't make you blow out the candles and make a wish?
Oh, well, of course, that's the thing that we always do.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I will say, I got a good time there. I went out to eat and all that. But and then excited to be back. Like I missed a little bit, but spring sports are really getting kicked into high gear. Soccer should be great coming up tomorrow night. Hilton Head against Bluffton. Looking forward to get to that, and then eventually, hopefully, get back on the mic to call some USCB baseball and softball this weekend if all goes well. We'll keep Brack an update on that if he's watching. But speaking of, when we talked about, obviously, the big sports story is the NCAA tournament. But tomorrow, the Major League Baseball season gets underway in Japan. The Tokyo Series at 6:10 a.m. So I'm glad I saw this because I have to set my fantasy lineup. I'm glad I remembered.
Oh, jeez. I just made a bunch of. I got auto drafted on Sunday, so I just had to make a bunch of roster claim or waiver claims.
But yeah, Yamamoto against Minaga over in Tokyo, Japan, to get us started. Which is crazy.
I have Imanaga. I auto drafted him, so that's good.
But I didn't realize it was 6 a.m. Like that's of course playing
that's
Japan.
Crazy where
yeah.
That means I get to put it on the last couple innings in my classroom.
Yeah, that's cool. But like I don't know, it just feels like you have like
too early.
Like another week and a half.
I hate it. I don't think they should play countable games 2 weeks before the season starts. I've always hated it. I don't think they should just be exhibitions. Why do they have to be countable games?
Right.
The people don't care, right?
I'm with you.
Baseball nerds. I love baseball. I love softball too, though. I have to say, I am
Softball's
really
fun.
falling in love with the
I do
intricacies
too.
of softball that make it
I
different
do
from
too. Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah,
I
same.
love the importance of the third baseman. I love the short game. I
Yep.
love slapping. I love the short bases so you can take extra bags. I mean, it is a fun, fast game, and I love coaching it. It's really great. But all right, I think that may do it for us tonight. I think we can call it a night on that. But thanks, fellas, for a great show. Enjoyed talking with you, even though I was kind of running on fumes and kind of lost the thread a couple of times tonight. Been a long day in the Ville. Big day ahead tomorrow for me and my Canes softball team. Go Diamond Canes. Yeah, I do like Malcolm Gladwell. I like the podcast. I also like Freakonomics. That's a really good one if you want to
Yep.
learn something new every day. But hey, boys, great show tonight. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to everyone who showed up to listen or watch. Thanks to Kevin Libby for being him and doing what he does in the
Absolutely.
comments, whatever that was. And thanks to all of you. We appreciate you. For Wes Kerr, Max Arraj, and Marcus Walsh, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco.